speaking of prospects and call-ups, Vinny's prospect report brought to you by nobody. Tell us who your prospects are to look at for shortstop for this year in 2024.
Yeah, I think the first one, again, we just have to mention him again, Jackson Holliday. If you don't know who Jackson Holliday is, you got to look into him. This guy just puts up phenomenal numbers. He is one of the best, if not the best, pure hitter that we've ever seen in the minor leagues so far. I mean, like, I know this
Did you see
name.
that home run derby that he had with his dad, where it was just like he's just hitting these moon shots. His dad is Matt Holliday,
Yeah.
for those who don't know. And there was a video that was going around a couple months ago on social media of them. They did like they were at some small ballpark and they did a home run hitting contest, some sort of home run derby. And it was just, he's out hitting. His father's jacked, still can hit, obviously. And this guy's just hitting bomb after bomb. He out hit his dad. It was so cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. Jackson Holliday, only 19 years old, but if he came up, he would be already in the top 10% of just best pure hitters in baseball. And it's only going to get better. I mean, this is like prodigious level type hitting. The only things that do kind of concern me, maybe not concerned, but if you're talking about fantasy upside, I don't see a lot of power yet. And obviously he's only 19. So, we can cut him some slack. And then the speed, he's not a burner. He's not, he's still 17 bases in single A, but 3 in double A over 36 games. Like, he's probably not going to ever be, a 20 stolen base guy, or maybe at some point on his peaks, if he decides to run, but he just feels like a very safe, maybe 20 homer bat, 10 steal guy, but he's going to hit 300. He's going to have many seasons where he hits 300. And I think you could put that in pen right now. So Jackson Holliday, number 1 on that prospect report.
Who else you got?
Number 2 is Jordan Lawlar. So I was in the camp all off season that I think Jordan Lawlar starts the year with the Arizona Diamondbacks as their starting shortstop. I think he's that good. He's a top 10 prospect in circles as well. Then they signed Eugenio Suarez, and now I think the waters are a little bit muddied. The Diamondbacks really like Geraldo Perdomo, so I doubt Lawlar start. It sounds like he's not going to start the year with the team, but he is good enough to be on the team if they wanted him to. So definitely look out for Jordan Lawlar. I don't have let's see, where's his ADP? He's going at 350. So again, probably a guy in most leagues, you just wait for the call up, but I would try to be early if you can, right? Like, after a month or two, maybe grab him if you have an extra bench spot and say, okay, I'm going to put my flag on this guy, because I think he is one, again, you're going to have to try to grab early, because if news comes out and he's still on the waiver wire, he's not going to be for very long. So where was Jackson Holliday too? I was curious. So yeah, Jackson's at 198. Actually, I think that's a pretty good price for him. He's definitely going to be drafted, like you said. It's just, how long are you willing to wait for the guy to sit on your bench? I think it's a little bit tough at that price to take him, but I get it, because again, we're talking about a guy who can change.
And again, we talked about the contract manipulation. The date is a lot earlier now for the years of service. So that's one thing that does help.
If he wins Rookie of the Year, right, they get a draft pick, an extra draft pick or something, don't they? So
yeah,
would that
goes
be
both ways.
incentive?
So so it's an incentive for the team to bring him up, and it's both ways, where it's like, hey, we're helping you both ways.
Right. Yeah. So, and then my last one, a little bit of a deeper one, I guess not deeper if you're into Dynasty, but Brooks Lee for the Minnesota Twins. He's a shortstop, and he is currently being drafted at 672. So totally off most boards. Again, he's one that you're just looking out to see when the call-up's going to be, because it is most likely going to be this year. He is another bat first kind of guy. He's not going to light up the stat sheets with power or speed, but he, again, is a guy who could hit 280 and have pretty good counting stats in that Minnesota lineup. Just one to watch out for. I think he's going to be an exciting player for many, many years. And again, just a safe floor guy. I love my floor guys. So I think Brooks Lee is one to watch out for in Minnesota.
And what's interesting about these prospects, and maybe this position more important than any other, is that we talked about there's really those top 5 shortstops. When you're talking about, and I don't want to spoil your tier list, which we'll get to in a minute, but you're talking about Witt, you're talking about Turner, Seager, Lindor, Bichette. It's really those top 5 guys, and then it's kind of a crapshoot after that. So maybe waiting 100 picks and getting a guy later, or spending less money if you're obviously in an auction league, and getting one of these guys later is actually the move for you if you don't wind up with one of those top 5 guys. And even in those top 5, I'm a little bit nervous about Corey Seager. He has an abdominal issue. There we go. I said it.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Come on. You like that. It was hard, but I did it. Anyway, yeah, I said it before the show perfectly, I think. But that's like a weird thing where it's not like an injury. You wonder what's going on with him health-wise. We hope everything's okay, but you're kind of wondering like, okay, what's going on with him? There's no real timetable. I heard today like he started walking or something. Like he started like, I was like, walking? That's not like that shouldn't be an update. Like that's not good at all, you know? So you want this guy to play baseball in a month from now, and he started walking today. So if this Seager thing lingers, like I'd stay away from him if you're drafting in 10 days from now and you're like, or 20 days from now, and you're starting to think, I don't know. Yeah, I would stay away from Corey Seager. So then you're talking about 4 guys in that top 5 before it falls off. So, these other sleepers and prospects could be really huge and win you a league. So with that said, let's get to your tiers, because
I do want to say one thing really quick before we move on, because you mentioned Corey Seager. If I'm in a very small league, a 10 team or a 12 team, Corey Seager is actually, I think, a target for me, because if I can stomach the first month or so that he is on the shelf,
you did there.
Stomach. Yeah, I totally didn't mean to, but if I can wait for him, I think he is one of those guys that in such a small league, if you're in a 10 or 12 team and you can get a guy later with multi-position eligibility, Matt McLean, or even I really like Tyro Estrada at his price, some guys like that.
I love Estrada. I wanted to put him on this list, but I think we talked about him at second base already. So I was like, I'm not going to put him on this list, but I love him as a value play for shortstop. Continue.
Yeah. So again, I mean, if I can keep him on my bench, I think he is well worth the risk in a smaller league. Now, if you're in a bigger league, 15, 20 teams, I'm probably not taking the risk of Corey Seager and his price. And that actually probably would have been a good worst value, just to make sure people are aware of the injuries, Corey Seager. But I think he is phenomenal. So
but that's the thing. I don't want to call him a worst value, because I think if he plays, he'll be good. Like that's for sure. I'm just really scared of him playing, and that's the only thing.